My name is Manalisha, and today we have with us Kajal Malik, the co-founder and chief sales officer of PickMyWork. PickMyWork is a gig platform that sources and trains agents to help digital companies acquire clients on a pay-per-task basis. This means that the digital companies acquire customers at a low acquisition cost. So the gig economy in India has been on an upward trend. What are your thoughts on gig economy being an ideal way to support and empower underemployed or unemployed youth in India and boost job creation?
Right. So gig economy is on the rise. There are like multiple surveys which are telling that there are multiple consulting firms which are doing, which are writing materials on it. So that's something which has come up recently. But India, as a country, was always had gig workers, right?
Right.
A lot of people were actually on contractual payment. It never came out formally. That's the thing. So. Will India have a great gig economy? It was not really a question of will it have it. It was a question of when and how it's going to happen, right? So over the last few years, it's sort of grown up, and there are multiple reasons to it, right? One major reason that drove it is the pandemic. Companies realized that they cannot they cannot really scale up with huge costs, which are fixed costs. So they wanted to variabilize the cost. So that was one major reason for companies to look at gig work favorably from all angles, and not just the few delivery or writing gigs that they were initially looking at, right? So they started looking at gig favorably from other angles. People also realized while they were working from home that it's not really a bad idea to have your own time in your own hands, right? And decide when you want to work and how much you want to earn in a month. If you want to earn more in a month, you do a little more. And if you're cool, the next month you want to attend your sister's wedding, you have enough money from the previous month, and you don't really have to take leave from your boss, right? And when we were while we were starting PickMyWork, we actually did a lot of research to find out what did not work for the salespeople in the current models. So one thing that we figured was they had less transparency. It was always difficult to know whatever they've done, is it going to be attributed to them or not before the end of the month when their incentives are due. Okay, so transparency was less. Trust from the boss in them was also very less, irrespective of what you are, where you are. In sales, your boss always assumes that you're freeloading if your numbers are not happening, right? So that was another thing. And people who are working on the field earning about 20-25K a month, daily gali galoch manage karna is absolutely normal for them. If they do not get it, one day they may feel awkward, right? Unfortunately, that was the scenario. And let's say they want to go to their own state to attend a wedding, their own sister's wedding, or anything, any major reason. It could be somebody's health in the family.
Right.
They would take chutti, but they would just be thrown out of the company in that process, right? So we saw that there were a lot of unfortunate incidents, or there were unfortunate ways in which sales was being managed, and we thought, okay, let's pick up sales, and there's definitely a possibility of gigifying it, because a lot of countries had started. Countries are ahead of us with respect to gig, right? And managing gig work in white collar or grey collar force. So by 2019 we had enough data. We knew what's going to happen. During the pandemic, when we started PickMyWork, of course, it was bootstrapped. During pandemic, we had to somehow manage with the revenues that we had made pre-pandemic, and our idea was liked by Okay, our idea was actually liked by emergent ventures, and who felt that during the pandemic, this idea can make so much of a difference, and that is why they put some grant money in us. It kept us going Was it enough for us to it was not even enough for us to last probably a month or two, but it was enough for it was a thappa on our idea, right? Somebody said
Right.
that this idea is good and it can make a difference. That was number one. Number two, it did give us leeway for a month, right? And next month the state started opening up, and we were everywhere and we were making revenues again. So with respect to bootstrapping, when you're starting up, unless you have a huge network, you're starting at about 35, you have a huge network and people really believe in your idea, or you are a great founder who's very good at pitching, or your idea is such that even in the pre-revenue stage your idea can get funded. I mean, it will get funded in those cases, but bootstrapping is majorly the way to go for a lot of founders, right? And it was the way to go for us with respect to Recalta also, and with respect to PickMyWork also. And we always thought that at the end of the day, revenues are going to make a lot of difference. So our focus was, with respect to Recalta also, from the day one, we never gave out our product for free. We always charge people for it. So revenue was going to be a major driver for us. We always thought about it, and that feeling passed on to PickMyWork as well. And we never decided to do anything for free. We wanted to get paid because A, it's important to run the company that way. B, people will value your services a little more when they pay for it, right? They'll use it properly, and they'll engage with you a little more, right? When they're paying for it,
right?
So that was always the thought process. And I mean, when you start up, you should be okay with the fact that you're going to part with the savings that you have, and there's going to be this opportunity cost of not initially having your salary as well, right? So when you enter into this, you have to prepare yourself and then enter into it. And how much you prepare when the first month, when you do not get the salary, right? It's still going to hurt, right? So all of that is going to happen. Come what what may, that's not going to.
It's part of the process.
Yes. So as much as you can learn about it and reduce the shock that comes from the blow, it is great, but you're going to feel it. It's part and parcel of startup life. Of course, you're going to need funding when you want to scale up and your idea has shown promise. But my suggestion to everybody would be to go the traditional way as much as possible. If you're making revenue, people of course will believe a little more in you, right? And our business was such where we could make revenues. There are businesses which for those businesses it's impossible to make revenue in the first month or the first 12 months, first 36 months. It's almost impossible.
Right.
So, it could be EV based business, so it's difficult, right? So there it is understandable, but for businesses like ours where revenue is a possibility, you should definitely focus on revenue, and you should focus on it till you do not need money for expansion. So you have to be mentally ready for all the downturns which are going to come, for all the highs which are going to come your way. And I mean, we thought we'll participate in competitions, or we'll try to get grant money as much as possible, because sometimes during your lows this also helps. Every month is not the month where you make the maximum revenue, right? Sometimes there are going to be lows and you still have to continue. So we actually did from Recalta time, and even during PickMyWork, we kept participating in a few competitions where there is going to be a cash prize, and we'll pitch our idea, and we'll make people believe in our idea, and earn a little bit of money here and there as well. So
that's great. I don't think that these contests which have a cash reward get talked about enough.